TGC Requiem, back with Modern Sultai control. Going through another league here. This is a friendly league. I just want to note that the deck list on the right is my current deck list, not the deck list that I played at the time. These are replays, so I'm going to click through the matches. Two differences from this list to the list I was playing at the time. I did not have Doomblade in the main. That was an Abrupt Decay. And I only had one Liliana the Last Hope. That was a Collective Brutality. I also was running in the sideboard a Kalidas in place of the Pulse of Marasa. And then one of the Abrupt Decays was a second Collective Brutality. So I just kind of found that I don't know that we need the life gain yet. Obviously deck lists are always emotion, but just wanted to give you a heads up as you're looking through this that, if I make a comment like, I don't have another Liliana or something, then you know why, despite seeing 2 on the right there. So, anyway, unlike the last league, we actually get to start on the play this time. And taking a peek, this seems good. Not the greatest mana situation, but I mean, we have turn 1 Serum Visions, which is good. We're not going to run Spell Snare till turn 2. Creeping Tarpet would be on its side, and we'd only have 1 mana up anyway, so this seems like a good setup. Opponent is going to keep on 6. We start with the Serum Visions, Cryptic, Snapcaster. So we put Cryptic on the bottom and Snapcaster on the bottom. We really just want to get another land. Drew a Thought Scour. Opponent throws out a Tron land, so we are playing Tron. Just not sure which version. Red-green's less popular now. Probably more likely green-white, though there are some black-green versions out there. So again, we already had a Snapcaster and Cryptic, put both of those on the bottom. We're rewarded by getting a Overgrown Tomb. I'm going to play Creeping Tarpet here. And then we're just going to hold up mana for Spell Snare in case they try and Sylvan Scrying. That goes for the Ancient Stirrings. The revealed card was a Power Plant, so it was the second piece of Tron. At this point, we will just Thought Scour since we didn't have anything we could counter there. Get a Tarmogoyf, that's nice. Since we can't really counter anything other than a 2 CMC spell anyway, we're really just going to jam Tarmogoyf here. Almost certainly, yeah. Play the Overgrown Tomb, jam Tarmogoyf, hold up Spell Snare for any 2 CMC. Just hope he doesn't hit Tron. Turn 3. Does not. So we've got green-white Tron here. It's going to go for a Sylvan Scrying, which we will gladly Spell Snare. And then drops another Chromatic Star. And now we could really go for an extra land, and we hit the 4th land, so having the Cryptic Command here is fantastic. Play the land, we'll wait, we don't need to fetch. We can be aggressive fetching against our life total in the matchup. But really we just want to hold up Cryptic Command, so that way we can fight against Karn or Ugin, which will pretty much wreck us. If I had the ability to snap into a Cryptic, I might actually counter this, considering that it really is going to make our Tarmogoyf smaller and weaker and a little more painful. But it's also going to give him an extra draw step towards hitting Tron, and once he hits Tron, it starts to become a little difficult. So I think I make a little bit of a oh no, so maybe I do Cryptic this here. So maybe I perceive this as a sign of weakness at the time. Oh, okay. So that's right. So I actually cryptic the relic and bounce this. Um, and my hope here was that if he did have Tron, he wouldn't be able to get Tron on. But I don't know. I still think I actually should have actually. Yeah, and then he goes to Path, but that actually puts me in a place where I could potentially snap Cryptic now. I actually think the smarter play there would have been to let him crack it, Abrupt Decay it. He goes to draw a card. Once he goes to draw his card and clears the graveyards, the Abrupt Decay still fizzles, goes to the graveyard. The what do you call it? The fetch land goes to the graveyard. We'd have had two in the graveyard. But anyway, we get a Path. We're gonna. Whoops. Go get an island. Now we jam the Tasigur. And because we can't really do anything else that matters, we're going to Snapcaster into a Serum Visions. And just try and clock him. Get another Cryptic Command in Serum Visions. So I think, yeah, so because we have 5 lands, we can actually put the Cryptic on top of the Serum on top of that, and therefore Serum into the Cryptic, and then manipulate our next 2 draws. We just gotta kind of hope to fade another spell here. And so actually, by countering the Relic, we did cost him 1 more card he could see. I'm not 100% certain whether or not that's the right play or not, though. I guess the flip side of that is Tasigur. So the other thing that I probably wasn't considering when I said that I think the better play would be to Abrupt Decay, by countering the Relic, we actually left enough cards in the graveyard to cast Tasigur, where otherwise we might not have had the cards necessary to cast Tasigur. So it probably was the correct play to actually Cryptic the Relic there. So again, he passes, doesn't have Tron, we get to Serum Visions, get our Cryptic, we're going to put the Push on the bottom, probably the Brutality on the bottom as well. Just take a quick peek and double check. Yep, both of those are bottomed. And we're going to attack for 6. We have Cryptic up to counter anything important, and worst case we can just delve some cards back. Or sorry, put some cards in the graveyard, Tasigur's ability. Sylvan Scrying. So I'm pretty sure, yep, we're going to counter this because we have him on the ropes. Counter, and then he hasn't played a land, so I hope we're drawing here, yes. And then he just concedes at that point, so he didn't have anything going on. Maybe he didn't even have anything really threatening going on either. But we get game 1 that way. And then we will move on to game 2. So sideboard wise, I would say we probably brought in Surgical Extraction, Negate, Fulminator Mage, and that's probably it. And we probably pulled out all of our Fatal Pushes and go for the Throats and probably the Collective Brutality that we had in favor of Abrupt Decay, since Abrupt Decays can at least blow up the... and so we may even have brought in, the third Abrupt Decay, just because Oblivion Stone, sometimes you can pop that, or a Expedition Mat before they have a chance to actually use it. So we'll be on the draw here. So I'm going to keep this hand. Fulminator Mage and Surgical Extraction is kind of the dream. We're on the draw, so they can just beat us to it. And if they do, they could turn 3 Karn, blow up one of our lands, and we never get to a Fulminator Mage. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. We also have a cantrip to kind of help us get to that third land, along with being on the draw. Get a spell snare, which is nice. We can counter if he goes for a 2 CMC, like Sylvan Scrying, instead of the Thought Scour. But instead he just plays another egg. And so we're free to Thought Scour here, flip a few cards, hopefully draw another black land, black mana source. We do not get a Snapcaster Mage. Luckily didn't flip anything into the graveyard land-wise. And then we drew the extra land. So we're actually in really good shape here. So because he did not hit a second turn Tron piece, there's really no way, save him playing like Beast Within, which is unlikely, that he's going to blow up one of our 3 lands before we can get a Fulminator Mage down. And once we get a Fulminator Mage down, we can blow up a Tron piece and Surgical Extract it, which will make it so they can't get Tron online for the rest of the game, which just buys us a lot of time. So here we're going to just probably play the other fetch land, hold up Spell Snare, probably crack for a Watery Grave, maybe even Overgrown Tomb. So Ghost Quarter, so he's definitely hurting on the Tron pieces. Tron Catacomb, we're going to throw good old Fulminator down, the Elemental Shaman. I think I make a little bit of a mistake here. So he goes, I wait till he Expedition maps. Sees what he gets. Urza's Tower. Sometimes if they have multiple Tron pieces in hand and they see this, they'll just go get like a replacement for the one, because it's not super likely that you get Fulminator Mage and Surgical Extraction in your opening hand for the decks that are attacking this way. I think I cracked the Fulminator Mage here, but what I should have done is waited until his draw step, and at his draw step, not only that, at his draw step, because then if he draws the Urza's Power Plant, he's also lost his draw step. So if Urza's Power Plant was the top card on his library, we basically let him draw an extra card. Whereas if he drew it and then we cracked the Fulminator Mage before moving to the main phase, then we essentially took a draw step from him. So, and then we just Surgical Extract this right now. So again, even there, we could have, with the Fulminator Mage, waited to Surgically Extract at the draw step. Really, it's the Surgical Extraction that matters at the draw step. Whoops. So we get the Power Plant, we see his hand, World Breaker, Wormcoil, Scrying, and Exile, so we're going to have to deal with some creatures. Seeing the path to exile makes us much more likely to play Liliana the next turn and hope to get to a point where we can just get the zombies rolling before he can get up to 7 lands. He does have 1 land in his hand, so that'll still leave him at 3 lands. Excuse me. We can also use Liliana, worst case, to rebuy the Fulminator Mage if we need to buy some time that way. Right now, looking at his hand, though, he does have a Sylvan Scrying, so he can get a second land, so he has access to probably 4. Though we do have the Spell Snare with Liliana, so looking pretty good, actually. And then looking at the rest of his hand, I mean, Oblivion Stone can be an issue if he gets that on us before we're able to ultimate Liliana, if we do go that route. But otherwise, I mean, he's got to get to 6 creatures to even do anything. Cryptic Command can bounce the creature, buy us more time. Things are looking pretty good. Alright, so he goes for Sylvan Scrying. Sorry, and he's actually able to do that because that was the end of my turn, so we didn't actually have Spell Snare up. And so I think at this point, we probably just Serum Visions, probably Creeping Tar Pit and Negate both on top. We both want the land and the ability to counter a big spell like, what's the big one? Oblivion Stone. So we're going to get Liliana down. Goes for Relic. Relic doesn't even really bother us at this point. He's just cantripping for lands right now. So Creeping Tar Pit, this is good. We want to get to that extra land because once we can Cryptic and then Snap Cryptic, we're like in really great shape. We're really hoping just to get this up to 7 so we can ultimate it as quickly as possible. Once he gets his, I mean, if he were to get up to 7 to get like a Karn down, I mean, I guess Ugin could exile probably enough turns in a row for Karn to get to the point to restart the game. But once we get the emblem down, you know, it's unlikely that he even gets to the point where a Karn can ultimate and restart the game. So he reveals an Oblivion Stone. Goes to cast it right now. And we Cryptic draw. Get that negate, hope to draw another land here. Probably, yeah. Pretty sure we throw a Tarmogoyf down here. Makes sense. Holding up negate and Spell Snare. He doesn't do anything. Probably same plan with Grimflayer this turn. Yep, so we get a pass. So that actually gets us our 6th land. So now not only do we have negate, but we have access to Snapcaster Negate going into our next turn. And we still have Snapcaster, or sorry, Spell Snare Negate this turn. He's to 6, so he's gonna probably get that Worm Coil down right now. I don't want to say too little too late, but we are going to get our Lily to ultimate here. And again, we have Snapcaster Cryptic to bounce. We do actually have a little bit of low life total, so if he tries to put the pressure on us with Worm Coil, let me think this through. If he tries to put the pressure on us with Worm Coil, we're gonna just chump block. And Lily's gonna grow at a pace that outsizes Worm Coil. So even if he gains 6 life for a couple turns, Liliana's gonna start putting out like 2, 4, 6, 10 tokens, which is like 20 power on board. So we're gonna be able to offset that. The key thing would be negating and then holding up Snap Negate on like a Karn, so that he just can't ever get a Karn down or a Ugin down to wipe all the tokens. So anyway, we emblem here. We're going to get a couple tokens at end step. So I don't... Oh, okay. So actually, and this kind of makes sense too. Because I have a negate, and I know he had a Karn, even if he goes for a Karn, we can just negate it. We don't have to hold up Snapcaster Cryptic. So might as well get the Tarmogoyf down, threaten the the Worm Coil that if he tries to attack, we're gonna just have too many jump blockers. Could actually trade with it if we needed to. So he gets to his 7th mana. We're seeing him tap for it all, we're pretty confident here that he's going to cast Karn, a cast World Breaker. And so he blows up probably our Creeping Tar Pit. And we can't really do anything about that. Just float the mana, just in case. And then at this point we actually just flash in a Snapcaster. So the reason I do this is at this point I'm looking at the fact that we could snap Cryptic to tap his team down, and I want to be in a position where I can swing for lethal when I do. And so he's at 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12 points of damage. With the zombies that come down the next turn, we should be in position to do this. We actually do draw into another land, which allows us to snap Cryptic. Again, we just don't attack, get 4 more zombies. Really what he needs right now is an Ugin, but we have Negate to counter that. Goes for Karn, we just counter this. Excuse me. So So we go and we were gonna snap into Cryptic, counter the Karn, tap the team down, and then we have what? 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Enough to do lethal on the backswing. So quick 2-0 against Green-White Tron, and that brings us to 2-0 in the game and 1-0, 2-0 in this league. We'll be back with the second match soon. Sorry if I'm kind of just kind of running through this one quick. Kind of semi-watching the Pro Tour at the same time, so slightly distracted. I'll try and be better in the next video. Thanks.